Okay, so welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a while. I've been looking for the perfect, maybe like time to record this story. I've been trying to get it to the perfect length. I recorded like a couple birth stories, but they've all been like 30 minutes. I'm really trying hard to make this story like 15 minutes long so that I can show clips of the babies and me in the hospital at the end. Anywho, if you haven't already, make sure that you hit the like button, hit subscribe. What else do I be telling you how to do? Oh yeah, comment in the comment section. All of that definitely helps with the growth of our channel. Subscribe. Tell them babies say subscribe. Makai said subscribe. Okay. So disclaimer one, this isn't the most positive birth story. It has a lot of negative aspects. It doesn't end bad or anything like that, but I'm just letting you know for people who are looking for a completely positive story, that ain't it. So I'm just giving you a warning. Oh my goodness, really, Kai? Disclaimer two is anybody who knows me knows that if I could have just delivered at home in a tub or something like that, I definitely would have. That's his brother going off. Give me a moment. I'm just going to go to the fact that I had two midwives. For the sake of the story, I'm just going to call them Kim and Alex. And basically, I chose them because they had experience with twins. And although they did make me aware from the beginning that they could only deliver twins in a hospital because it's considered a high-risk birth, the hospital that they were delivering with, if you watch my stories, you'll know what the hospital was. Or if you want to find out the hospital was, you can always message me down below. But the hospital they're delivering with, I liked as far as their cesarean rate was really low. And I liked when I took the tour, they seemed to be into like more natural methods. So, yeah. When we got there around 7. Alex came around 8. Now, when I met with them in the office, Kim was the one who suggested that I get my water broken because my cervix was soft, and she was like confident that I would just go into labor on my own. Babe, you want to take him? Yeah. Oh. She was confident that I would go into birth on my own if I got my water broken. So Kim passed all her information off to Alex. Alex is the one who met us at the actual hospital. When we got there, Alex did a complete 180 on me. She went from this holistic midwife who I vibe with over the course of, how many months were we with them? Like 6 or 7 months, to a complete just nurse. So she just was like, hey, I talked to the head pediatrician, whoever the hell the doctor is called, when you go in for labor and delivery. And we don't feel comfortable just breaking your water without you having contractions first. So that kind of threw me through a loop. It was the first red flag because when we talked over the course of all these months, y'all made it very clear that y'all were in control of this delivery, that I would be able to have the natural-ish birth that I wanted. And now you're talking about the another doctor. You said that another doctor wouldn't really have any say over your birth. Anyway, so she already knew I didn't want to do Pitocin because I made that very clear. Yeah. So she suggested Cytotec or Cervidil in place of Pitocin to make me contract. Which, by the way, if anybody knows anything about these drugs, they actually sound a lot worse and scarier than Pitocin. I agreed to Cytotec at first because she just made it seem like, oh, you just pop it in your cheek, you just start contracting. But when I actually read the side effects, when I read like what it can do to the fetus, I said it's an absolute no. So I changed my mind. Which I didn't like her response to that either. So she read it on Dr. Google. Yeah, that's right. I did read it on Dr. Google because Dr. Google was giving me that real, and you was over there trying to just scoop me some crap. So yeah, that was out. We agreed to just get my water broken instead, which was cool, I guess. I mean, they stick like this like catheter in you. It's kind of weird, but whatever. Either way, we agreed to go ahead and just break my water. She did say to me, though, like, oh, so now that your water's broken, how long are we going to wait to see if your body goes into labor naturally before we start the Pitocin? And I'm just like how long would you suggest? This lady says 2 hours. Now, if anybody reads anything about induction via, what is the word breaking called? I can't remember the scientific term of it right now, but induction via getting your water broken, you would know it tells you it can take up to 12 hours before your body naturally starts to respond. So for her to suggest 2, insult. Either way, I told her no to 2. We can do 4. We agreed to 4 hours. We agreed to 4 hours instead of her 2-hour mess. And at this point, it was like 12 o'clock in the morning. So, I came in at 7. I can't even tell you what the hell we was doing for all those hours. But either way, 12 o'clock is when I actually got my water broken. So the second red flag that came was the fetal monitoring. Now, they already made it clear that the hospital procedures that I had to be hooked up to the fetal monitoring for whatever reason. I really didn't want fetal monitoring, but I said okay. And I told them my biggest concern is I want to be able to walk around so that I can, do all the fancy moves that I learned in my birthing class. And so she's like, oh yeah, no problem. They have Bluetooth fetal monitoring. Okay, cool. So when she told me about this fetal monitor, I'm like, all right, great. So where's the Bluetooth? And the nurse that worked there in the hospital was just like, we have Bluetooth fetal monitoring, but not for twins. So my midwife's like, oh. So now she wants to go check. But I'm thinking, you have all these months to check because, again, I've been with you since month 3. So, of course, the Bluetooth fetal monitoring wasn't available for twins. I had to be hooked up to the machine. And I'm telling her, I'm like, one, these twins don't like to be monitored anyway. That's the reason why I kept failing the non-stress test, because they don't like monitors. But 2, I don't want to be hooked up to a machine, so I want to be able to roam free. I got them to agree to intermittent fetal monitoring, where they check me every hour. And she had a smug response about that too. Like, they're going to wake you up every hour. Okay, that's fine. They'll wake me. I'm not going to get a good sleep. And who comes to the hospital to get a good sleep? I don't know. So around 4 o'clock in the morning, she comes back in the room with, actually it was 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock in the morning, she comes back in the room with our nurse, and she's just like, hey, so you're not contracting. So I'm gonna go ahead and put in the order of Pitocin, okay? So I'm just like, oh, okay. And as soon as she leaves the room, I bust out crying. I'm telling Daryl, like, I don't understand why my body's not doing it. I was really confused. I'm like, I was already 3 centimeters, I'm 80% effaced. I don't understand why this baby doesn't want to come out. So the nurse who works at the hospital saw me crying, and she's just like, she looks at the screen, oh my God, I see a contraction. Looking at the pic, oh, I see another contraction. They're like 8 minutes apart, but you know what? I'm going to talk to Alex, and I'm going to get her to just hold off. So I'm just like, okay, thank you. They actually advocated for me while I was there at my stay. So thank you, nurse. But she basically got her to hold off on the Pitocin that I didn't want. About 3 hours later, her and Kim switched. So the only difference was I decided to do the continuous fetal monitoring so that they can continue to pick up my contractions. So even if I'm not feeling them, they can see them on the screen so that they don't push the Pitocin down my throat. So when Kim comes, I'm all excited to see her. I'm like, yeah, she's the midwife who suggested this. Hey, Kim, what's up? Kim gives me the 3rd red flag. She says, and I quote, hey, you ready to start the Pitocin? I just couldn't believe it. I'm like, no, actually, I'm contracting now. She's like, oh, are you feeling the contractions? I don't even know if I was feeling them at that point, but I'm like, either way, the screen's picking them up, and at this point, they're coming shorter and shorter together. So she's like, okay, well, I'm going to check you to see if you dilated further. If you haven't, we're going to start the Pitocin. So she checks me to see if I've dilated further. I'm at 4 centimeters instead of 3. And then she's like, oh, okay, well, we'll just let your body do its thing. Oh, thank you. It's the only thing I've been advocating for the entire night, but thank you. Anyway, as the story goes on, I also asked her, now that, I think maybe an hour or 2 have gone past at this point. Now I'm starting to feel the contractions. They're actually starting to become painful, and I'm asking her, I'm like, hey, can we go ahead and, take this monitor off, because I only had it on just so I can track the contractions. Let's go back to intermittent. Nighttime and daytime is a little different. I had to ask the doctor if he or she, I think it was he though, if he will allow me to take them off. Again, I'm confused because you said it was your birth. You said it was my birth and that you had complete control and I had complete control, but now you're still asking doctors. So of course the doctor says no. I have to leave this on. And at that point I'm really thinking, like, what if I go ahead and snatch this off? What y'all gonna do? You can kick me out? Whatever. So ended up keeping the monitors on, and I'm telling Kim, I'm like, but if we keep these on, I'm not able to walk around, not able to do all my fancy little moves. And she's like, oh, there's a birthing ball right here by the bed. You could just jump on that. That's not the moves I wanted to do. She lets me take a shower. And in the shower is actually where I felt the contractions like cut in half. And she's just like, oh, well, you know, after the shower, we have to get hooked back up to the monitors. Like, everything was just going like a mess. The doctor who will be delivering with her in the OR, because that's another thing, which they did make me aware of, baby A had to be delivered in the OR. So she's like, oh, you know, he's going to come in. He comes in, he introduces himself. He seems to be pretty nice up front, but later I found out he wasn't that great. That's all cool and dandy, but I don't know. I was just really like just irritated with the whole like birthing process. The fact that I had to be hooked up to this monitor, I'm like, now the contractions are starting to come like really, really strong, and they couldn't find baby B with the monitor. His heart rate kept, that's Makai by the way, his heart rate kept like going on and off the monitor because I'm trying to tell y'all, they have been ducking and dodging monitors since the beginning of the pregnancy. That doesn't, you know, of course that doesn't do anything for her. She finds him, and at that point now he makes this ball appear on my side. So I'm having contractions as baby A's like kind of come out, and baby B decides to make this big ball up at the side. So now I can't breathe on top of having contractions because he's laying on the organs on this side. He's trying to come out. It just is a big mess. So now at this point I'm just like, you know what, just give me the epidural because I have to do one. I'm going to have to breathe. So I mean, I already can't breathe. At least not let me feel as much pain, something. I'm so sad that I even had this epidural because I really didn't want it. Daryl's mom was like, oh, you know what? You know, maybe before you give her the epidural, you should check her. She's like, I'm looking at the screen. Her contractions are so close together at this point that I think that, you know, she's probably ready to actually go into labor. Of course, my midwife didn't do that. She's just like, oh, yeah, let's just get her the epidural. Great. They go ahead and they order the epidural. And the guy who gives me the epidural is a jerk. Like, this is, oh my God. He comes in, I'm having like a contraction, and he's telling me to sit up. So Daryl basically was like, oh, wait, like she's having a contraction. This man says, like, I mean, she's going to have a contraction while I'm giving her the epidural. Like, she's going to have to go ahead and like figure it out. Or something he said to that nature. He didn't actually say figure it out, but basically that's how it came off. Like, get over it, kind of. Oh my gosh, like if I knew his information. Anyway, I get the epidural, and as soon as I get it, I kind of lay to my side, and then he's like, oh, you gotta lay on your back, because if you lay to the side, it will only go effective on one side. Y'all, I was only on that side for maybe all of 2 seconds. All of 2 seconds. It didn't ever kick in on my left side. You know, my left and my right shaky. So it never kicked in on my left side. Never felt numb. I could move my left leg up, everything. I'm just like, okay, so it didn't work on this side. Great. Still feeling pain. It was just, yeah, it was just a miserable experience. And then, of course, shortly after they checked me in, I was like, you know, dilated and ready to go push. So I just wonder if I would have just, you know, pushed harder for us to do what Daryl mom said, where I would have been anyway, because it was shortly after that I was ready to go into labor. So that's neither here nor there. In the OR, it can only be 2 people, and that was, of course, me and Daryl. So Daryl gets all dressed up in this little white suit, which y'all will see later in the video. It was so funny, to meet me in the OR, but before he gets in there, for some reason they had to take me in by myself first, and that's where me and the doctor got into it. Because now at this point, I had nothing to go my way, but the one thing that I wanted to make sure is that I didn't deliver on my back. I didn't want to deliver on my back because it increases your risk of cesarean. Go ahead and look that up. And so he's all like, oh no, you have to deliver on your back. And they get these shiny lights. They get these forceps on the side of the thing. They pushing my legs into them. I'm like, oh, I don't want to deliver on my back. I was like, I want to deliver on my side. He's just like, well, you got the epidural, so you can't deliver any other type of way. I said, I can feel on this. I can still move this leg. So I'm just like, he was like, well, I don't know what's your whatever, your beef or whatever he said against deliver on your back. I'm like, increase your risk of cesarean. He's like, no, it doesn't. I'm like, yes, it does. He's like, no, it doesn't. I'm like, yes, it does. So I'm really arguing with him on the actual table about to deliver. Mind y'all, again, I told y'all I'm still having pain because I can feel everything on the side. It just was a big mess. Like, it really was. Oh, my God. So, okay, I'm going to delivery. At this point, this is probably the best part of the story was baby A's delivery, which is Makani. That was smooth. It wasn't too bad. You know, I felt the pressure. I felt a little pain. You know, went to go push. The first thing that comes out was the head. I didn't like that they were coaching me because, again, like, it's, oh, my God. If anybody is planning to do, like, a natural birth, you know what I'm saying. All that, come on, Ebony. You got it. Come on. It's like, oh, my God. Like, breathe. Come on. Breathe. Put, like, all of that. Oh, my goodness. It just was, it felt like an actual show. And I couldn't bring my camera in. And I wasn't allowed to record it. So you won't get to actually see, like, the baby busting out, which is really sad because I really did want to record all of it, but whatever. Anyway, so they're breathe. Makani comes out, and I felt like it was a short amount of time. I can't even remember how long it took him to come out, but it wasn't that long. Then baby B. Baby B wasn't quite ready. When I talked to my midwives, I told them, I said, listen, when baby A comes out, get baby B out too. But I said it in I'm not going to say like a jokey way, but kind of. They already told me baby A had to be delivered in the OR, but they said baby B could be delivered in the room. Nope. The doctor there, oh, go ahead, break her water, talking to my midwife. Oh, and let me just sidebar real quick. My midwife did try to say something in the very beginning when we first came in. One of the nurses asked the doctor something. She's like, oh, this is my patient. And the nurse got smart with her and was just like, oh, well, this is his OR. I'm saying, like, you have no control over anything in here. Like, they got the nurse getting smart with you, and she didn't say anything. So I'm just like, oh, God, okay. So, you know, it was a couple times I'm looking at her, especially when I was arguing with the doctor. She's like, I know, Ebony, I know. But do you know? Do you? Anywho, I go ahead, I'm ready to deliver baby B because they didn't broke the order. So, because baby B wasn't ready to come, I didn't really feel contractions like that with baby B. So it's like, y'all telling me to push, but you need those contractions to really help you push it. I'm not really feeling them. So now I'm kind of like relying on looking at this screen again to see when I'm so-called contracting. Baby B's coming out arm first. They had to push his arm back in. Then he gets stuck right here on my pelvis bone. When I say it was the worst pain imaginable, like I'm in hella pain. It hurts so bad trying to push this boy out. And then like they asked Daryl, you know, who doesn't really know everything to tell them, like, oh, is it okay if we like try to go and vacuum baby B out? So of course Daryl sees me in pain. He just wants it to be done. He's trying to make sure I don't have a cesarean, basically. And he's just like, oh yeah, okay, go ahead. Like they're trying to explain some rambled ass BS. It just is a big mess. Either way, they go ahead and put the vacuum on baby B's head, which I feel like didn't really help anything anyway. And I feel like at one point I saw my midwife smack the doctor's arm away with the vacuum. So baby B, they vacuumed the sister baby B out. I really don't feel like, I mean, granted, I'm not down there, so I can't say whether it hurt or helped or what, but I don't really feel like it did much of anything. Baby B was born like 52 minutes later. It was the worst pain I feel like I've ever felt in my life. Again, oh my God, it was just bad. So the last part that really like annoyed the crap out of me after all this, by the way, both babies are delivered vaginally, so that was good. And I had minimal tearing as well. Literally like it was so minimal, it wasn't even 0.5 of a stitch. It was just like, oh, you have a little tear. They couldn't even, so that was good. Baby A came out 7 pounds 1 ounce. Baby B came out 5 pounds 14 ounces. So now that they're both out, I cried for both of them because I was like really excited to be done with labor. The nurse says, oh, you know, we're going to get her started on her Pitocin. I just couldn't escape this Pitocin. I'm just like, why are you giving me Pitocin? She was like, oh, so that you won't hemorrhage. I'm almost positive that I read that Pitocin to be given for hemorrhage is not for precautionary reasons. It's like, if I begin to hemorrhage, you can give me. I'm not hemorrhaging. She didn't listen because I had the epidural drip thing going in that wasn't doing anything. She just switched it and put the Pitocin in, which I feel like can be, I don't know. I'm just trying to find something. It got to be something. Either way, you put this Pitocin in. When I delivered both babies, my blood pressure was my normal blood pressure, which was like 112 over something. By the time we got back in the room with this Pitocin drip, maybe like a half an hour later, she had did my blood pressure. It had rose to like 150 over something. And she's like, oh my God. Now she's, I'm looking at her like, oh, you think? Because I told you not to give me this Pitocin. And of course, later when I read the side effects for Pitocin, extreme high blood pressure is one of them. By the time they finally took me off the Pitocin, because I had to talk her into getting that crap out of me, my blood pressure was like 170. 170, which was like insane. But either way, I'm trying to wrap this up. I'm going to add some pictures at the end. Again, both baby boys came out healthy. Makai did have some bruising on his head because of the vacuum. So, yeah. I'll do another video showing like my postpartum journey after my 6-part yoga series beginner video. Anyway, yeah. So I just want to say that overall, although nothing went to plan, both baby boys came out healthy. And by the time I left the hospital, my blood pressure finally got back to semi-normal. It didn't even get back to complete normal by the time I left the hospital, but got back semi-normal. I was only in the hospital for 2 days. 2 days before we left and went home. And yeah, they did like 1,001 tests on Makai because they kept saying he was low birth weight. But really, he was just smaller than his brother. He was 5 pounds 14 ounces, and that's not even low birth weight. It's like it's a normal weight. And for a twin, that should be damn near like yay. But either way, hopefully I didn't nag you out too much with this birth story. Again, I'm gonna go ahead and add the stuff at the end so that y'all can see. So, peace. Subscribe. Fashion show for you. I'm rocking the mini skirt, aka belly band, that I made into a mini skirt, and a hospital gown. How does it look?
It looks beautiful, baby.
Let's go see if we can visit your mom. Walk freely. Then you have to walk out of triage.
On that side over there, through the hallway and around to the other side. Not through those doors, but you can go around this hallway. Just out this door, and you can walk around to the other hallway over there. Okay.
So it's 11:12. We've been here since 7:10, and absolutely nothing has been given to us so far. I came here with the intention to just get my water broke, and since then they've given us other options. The midwife in charge tonight is talking about like site attack, Pitocin, which I don't want to do unless medically necessary, and something called Cervidil. And after looking at the side effects online, I'm like, ooh, I don't like none of them, so we're just going to get our water broken. and see what happens. And alright, so I just got my water broken at 11:48. And again, we've been here since 10, babe?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah. That's how long it took them to break my water. Right now, they have the fetal monitor on, which I did not want. But whatever. They said they were gonna take it off for 5 minutes, and because I told them I really don't want the monitor to be on continuously, we would agree on intermittent monitoring. Also, what the freak is that? Is one of them off?
Probably.
So either baby B or baby A came off the monitor.
Anxious. Still waiting for the babies to get here. And that's it. Anxious. I know I'll be tired, but that's selfish.
Here we are the next morning. So I got my water broke at I got my water broke at 11:48, and nothing happened throughout most of the night. I started having contractions, so now we're trying to see how far they are apart. First they were 8 minutes apart, now they're getting a little shorter. I'm hoping that they keep getting shorter, and then I just go on my own, you know. So I said hold off on the Pitocin to see what my body's gonna do. So cross fingers for me. And there's their mom.
So right now, my baby girl's having some contractions. They are starting to pick up, and you can look at her face and tell. What's the name? Contractions are starting to be stronger and more frequent. So hopefully the boys will be here in a few hours. We'll see. How you feel, babe?
Terrible.
We did have a couple good nurses, though. We like our nurses so far. Midwives, nurses are doing a great job. What you think?
Yeah, I really like our nurses. Like a lot. Like, I was like on the fence about recommending this place.
How are you doing? Would you like?
We are 10 centimeters dilated at the moment, and we're actually about to go to OR to begin pushing. So we should have the babies here, hopefully, within the next couple hours.
This will be when you put on your Dr. Kildare suit.
We'll put on my...
His man suit. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Let me rephrase that. His man suit. Coming into manhood with the sun.
Got my man suit right here. My baby boy got the mask.
Okay.
All right.
Just need the beer though.
Just need... Oh, I get the beer, fam.
Oh yeah.
And then we should be good.
And what did I end up getting?
A hat.
Well, okay, so...
Just a hat. You only get a hat.
She ended up getting an epidural today, which was against her wishes initially, but the pain, was too much. So at the end, she wound up getting an epidural, and the babies are on their way. She hasn't taken any other medication in a sense.
Oh, okay.
Waiting for push. I like that. What can I do?
Hard charger.
Look at my baby. Look shivering.
So you want to remember this for when you are
of age. Oh. All right, guys, we are heading to the OR in about a couple minutes. We're about to deliver these babies, and I'm about to be a father of 2 very soon.
I'm too sorry.
Yeah, she's 10 centimeters dilated. I got baby girl right here. She's a trooper. She's been going through it. and her last job is to push the babies out, and then I got it from there. You see, baby? Oh, can you get a picture?
Get some babies.
Yeah, you so crazy.
Okay, wait, not too fast, because it has to go with.
Perfect.
I know everybody.
Yes, she does.
This is the next night now, and we will be checking out in the morning. So I just want to fill y'all in on my birth. Actually, I'm going to just make a birth story because it was pretty. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm not going to say traumatizing, but either way, the babies are here. They're healthy. They're happy. My birth didn't go as planned at all. I really wanted to have a natural twin vlog, and I don't have that because I ended up getting the epidural. I did have them vaginally, but it wasn't epidural free. But look at the babies. We have Makani right here, who just got fed, and Makai, who I'm about to feed. They've both been latching on really great. So breastfeeding's been like really good for them.
Hey, baby boy. Hey. Let me give you this. Hey. Where you at? Where you at? There you go. There you go. Say hey, peoples. The baby just sleep. Mommy can get him up.
So, yeah, that's what I'm dealing with for now, the recovery process. But again, I will come with a complete birth story about my experience with twins in the hospital and why I will never, I'm not going to say never, ever, and just in case something goes wrong, but why I aim to never have a hospital birth again. Did you want to say anything, babe? All right, I will catch y'all in the next vlog. This is my labor and delivery story, and I'm out.